Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and we are doing a no-run-through review for Block and Key, which is a game with the theme of Lock and Key, the very popular show on Netflix. That's not true in any way, and
spelled similarly.
It is. It's very close to that. It's also the other not true part is I don't think that show's popular. But no, this is a 2D game, or a 3D 2D
game played in 3 dimensions.
In 3 dimensions.
That's the hook line they should have had on there.
Pretty much.
Two-dimensional puzzle.
Instead of a game of puzzling adventurers. Theme, totally
Pointless.
useless. Yeah, it is a complete polyomino game. But I think it actually has a pretty unique twist.
Yes.
On the actual kind of genre. Like, Kat was the one that was like, oh yeah, I like other polyomino games better. And I'm like, oh, I guess it is what this is.
Name one polyomino.
Name one. So yeah, this was shown to me at Gen Con. And it was kind of like a quick rundown, and I was like, it was kind of like at that point where I was just like, sure, just buying games. Mm-hmm. But I like this kind of style game. I like polyomino games. I like the spatial awareness, and the fact that this one had a pretty unique twist on it, I thought was pretty cool. So, what do you guys think of Block and Key?
I agree with everything that you said. Having never played it before, but I went the puzzling aspect. They're simple puzzles, and you've got several to choose from, but the perspective and the way that other people change your board and the way that you screwed up one of my clever moves.
Yeah, like completely unintentionally.
Well, it's all unintentional. You're only building your side,
mm-hmm.
and you have no thought about what's going on, but you ended up screwing up what I was about to do. Okay, I got to deal with... No, I just fuck off.
Yeah. Yep, okay, I guess I'll just take some blocks. I can just bide my time. Kat, what do you think?
Well, I don't think much of it. I really saw no point. I couldn't even tell you why we were doing what we were doing.
Okay.
Other than just digging things out of the ground and stacking them up.
Yeah, once again, theme,
yeah.
There is none.
Which leads me to what you said earlier, which there's other polyomino games out there.
That you just rather play.
And I'll play those. I don't know. I normally I like a puzzle game and I like, moving things and like trying to line them up, but like this one just didn't jive with me, I guess. Yeah. I thought it was interesting that we all had like different perspectives, literally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like how whenever you're placing a block, like there were times where I was placing blocks to obscure my view of other colors that I no longer needed.
Right.
To fulfill another card that I had. But yeah, you're right. Like this one, the reason why we're not doing a run through of it is because I don't have 5 cameras to actually do it, because to even view it, you'd have to be able to see it, because basically you have to sit like this, like to see it in that 2D perspective, and be like, okay, so I have this one. If I rotate it or if I do that, is that gonna work? And nope. Okay, so now I need that color. So now I need to do it all weird to fulfill a card. So it's not viewable, and because you're so engrossed into what you can do and what you can see, there's not much communication. Yeah.
I think it's a really clever idea.
Yeah.
And I think it's got a very interesting twist.
Right.
On that sort of tile placement, Tetris style
mm-hmm.
building. I think it has some flaws.
Yeah.
But they're not deeply serious. I would be willing to play it again.
What flaws? What do you got?
The placement, the rule placement,
mm-hmm.
That if they directly touch,
mm-hmm.
then the one you place has to be taller than the others.
Yeah.
I can't understand why that is anything but artificially limiting.
That's really, yeah.
Now, I think that there is a reason behind it. It probably came out in playtesting, that it's just too open.
Yeah.
We have to put some limitations to be able to do, but it really got in the way several times.
I think that's exactly why, is that it obviously makes no thematic sense, but you can... I feel like if you could always just constantly be butting things next to each other, mm-hmm. like that, then you would probably just be able to run through objective cards. It's like super quick. It's like so many times that could have happened to me,
Yeah.
where I didn't have to start cleverly stacking and orienting in such a way that, oh, okay, now I was finally able to do this. And
So for good or bad, that turned a simple move into 3 different turns. But yeah, I finally got it.
yeah,
Except you put down a piece that got in the way.
they got in the way. That would probably be my. There's a couple things that I don't like about this game is the fact that it's multiplayer solitaire.
Yeah.
Like, and since you're competing for these objective cards on finishing them out, your opponents are either directly or indirectly helping or hurting you without any wherewithal that they're doing so.
Right.
So it's like you play a piece down that I'm like, oh, yay, that completes that, and I'll just place this, like so or whatever. You can't do that, but it's like hypothetically, and it's like, yay, great, now I completed this for all the work that you guys did for me, and you guys were like, okay, we didn't intentionally mean to do that.
Right.
I just don't find that kind of strategy fun.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Kat. I think the fact that this is lacking in theme
Yeah.
makes it to where the objectives that you're doing are just more or less the same, just different colors.
Yeah, just
It's
variants.
like, I have this straight line of 6, and you have a straight line of 6, but I need 2 green, 3 white, and a gray. You need 3 brown, 2 gray, and a white.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I also don't like the fact that there were times where what was out and available was more or less like what you took, and then what comes out, it's like, oh, perfect for me, as well as the fact that I top decked a lot of objectives. That 4-pointer 5 white
Yeah.
that I had, I just drew that and I had a white. I'm like, oh, okay.
You just happen to have the piece that finished
And it
it.
happened to work for my Enigma. That I was like, well,
And was that the same one that completed 2 other objectives all at the same time?
no.
Okay.
Oh wait, yes, yeah, it did actually. Yeah, it was the one where I placed this T. I placed that down and I was able to pop 3
Yeah.
objectives down.
Which is luck.
That is
in
luck.
that case.
Yeah, I did not. There was one where I
It can be
completed.
strategized, but most
Whenever-
of it's gonna be luck.
Like whenever I placed 2 down, like this piece here, that completed 2, but I planned that.
Right.
And that's cool, but to just be like, oh man, draw this and boom, and then oh look at that, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's
Yeah.
kind of whatever.
There was a turn I completed 2, but I didn't even see it until after the end of my turn that I had actually completed 2 that one, because I
Yeah.
wasn't concentrating on both at the same time.
Yeah. Kat, I feel like there's a negative that you can bring up.
Well, I feel like I already brought it up. It's just a very nothing game for me.
No, I think one thing that you asked about that was annoying, you both kind of brought up, was you're stuck with the cards you got.
Oh yeah, during play.
Yeah, because I asked about, I was like, is there a way that I can get rid of these cards?
Yeah.
Which, like, in a lot of games there is. It's like, well, yeah, discard your whole hand to redraw or
Sure.
something.
Yeah.
Not in this case, in which case you're very stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just kind of sit for a while until eventually, either by luck or by hallucination, you finally get something you need.
Exactly. And I actually think that that's a big problem because of the randomness of the bag and the limitations of the bag of what's coming out and the fact that your opponents can hold on to pieces, you're stuck with the cards you got. You might not have the colors you need to complete the ones that are in your hand, so you're effectively not playing. And because you're limited to your side of the thing, it's
The best you can do is draw 3 pieces, get rid of 3 from your hand.
but if these will run out.
Well, okay, so the one.
Yeah, there were only 2 left, so like if I took 3, then only these 2 would come out.
But if you have more than 7, don't they go? The extras go back in the bag.
They would, but like in this case,
Okay, so in that case, you could draw ones that could help toward your goals. You just have to basically use an entire turn to get set up for spending the 2 turns that it takes to finish.
but you have to hope that the colors that you're drawing also correspond to the cards that are in your hand. So I don't see why they didn't give you 3 things to do in your turn, because you either take a row or column, place a brick. Why couldn't they just be like discard and redraw?
Either all or any number.
Yeah. Just because at the end of the day, it is a race in a 3-player game. It's first person to finish 8. And if you can't contribute in that race, and someone else is just like, oh, lucky me, or maybe not even luck, maybe they're strategically getting whatever, then it's like, well, I have no chance, just because these cards and these colors just aren't in my favor.
Yeah, it is a group solitaire game, and that's not as social as a lot of people would like to be.
Yeah. This game is kind of one that remind me. It's almost like a perfect Gen Con game. You're going to be walking around in the admission or in the exhibit hall and be like, "Ooh, what's this?" The pieces are solid.
Oh yeah,
like these things are really, really nice. This board, I mean, it obviously wiggles, but the box. This is actually just a sleeve. The box is actually what you play on.
For cardboard, it's pretty sturdy.
It's very thick. These are
I do have questions about the long-term durability, but.
I think
just because it's cardboard, it's going to get bent and
I've seen
slightly.
I've seen worse. Burgle Bros was one of those where it was like bowing in.
Yeah.
Another one that kind of looks like this is Holy, the Festival of Colors, where you're actually, but that's like plastic. Where it's, I think it's 3 tiers. Yeah, it's 3 tiers of plastic. But in terms of cardboard, and actually, I like when games utilize the box as like your board. That's always just kind of a neat little thing. But overall, it's a flashy game. Even the sleeve is all gold.
Oh yeah,
and
which looks great, but it's really hard to read. At least they don't put
it blinds
key text
you.
in
You're just like, oh my god.
I do want to point out something interesting that I noticed about the sleeve and just the whole game in general. Is it's got instructions in 3 languages.
Yeah.
German, French, and Canadian.
Yep.
Which is fine, and it's totally cool to be proud. It's just that is the first time I've ever seen English.
It's
with a Canadian flag.
Right. I would imagine that he's Canadian. That's why he did that. But
and of course French makes sense then too.
What's also kind of weird is you have the key cards. You only get 2 easies throughout the whole game. That's during setup. You get 2 easy cards, and then the only ones you can draw are medium and hard. And
I guess the idea was you're supposed to complete the easy ones pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that way you're starting to get in.
Set up for like medium or hard ones, but I don't know. For me, I'd feel satisfied. Polyomino games for me are like whenever you are methodically and strategically placing down the pieces that are, it's like, oh man, I did this. I don't like the fact that it's like, oh, you did all my setup for me.
Yeah.
And I placed one block down and that completed the hard one.
Now they do have a mitigation. That you do have to place a piece related to something you complete.
They do, yeah.
You can't just take a gift.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like if both you and Kat put a brick down, that it's like, oh, I just need to put I'll just put this, put that there.
Same color, in front of it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I contributed to it, but I really didn't solve that.
Right.
You guys did it for me. But hey, that's a 4-pointer that's coming straight down, and that's one of the 8 I need. I personally don't get satisfied for that. And I'm kind of, in the same boat. This is kind of a whatever game. Looks cool, but it really didn't do a whole lot for me.
And I will mention the end score multiplier.
Oh, the Enigma?
Oh,
yeah.
The Enigma cards?
That I think is way overblown.
It's totally not needed. Like, this should have been one of those where it's, okay, if they want to have these, like, Sagrada kind of things, it's exactly that. Oh, hey, add up all the pips of that color die. And but that's added to just your final score.
Right. That's what I thought it was, is you get these, divide by 3, and you add that.
Yeah.
No, it's for each card you finish.
Yep.
Which I'm not exactly sure why. I would assume that in playtesting they came up with a reason to do it that way. So that someone completing a whole bunch of 1- and 2-point cards could still get a really good score.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
instead of going for the higher point ones.
I mean, we'll think about it. That in and of itself is just a solidifier, unless someone finished 8 out, 6 or 7 cards of only 4s.
Yeah. But then someone could finish like 2 or 3 cards and then spend the rest of the game doing nothing but stacking their own color in their face.
Yeah.
And get like a 12 or 15 multiplier on top of the 3 you finished.
I mean, I finished out 10 cards and had 15 whites facing me. So it's like, okay, well, that's 5 points, so 50 points.
Yep.
Like 50 points was already almost more than what your final score was.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, that's, I agree. It's just asinine. Just whenever you're, I don't know. It should have just been add up all the ones that you got,
Yep.
that you finished, and those are the points, and then 15. Add 15.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
Yeah, it just seems like they're like, oh, team, sorry, we got to put one more, like
One weird thing.
Yeah.
Like
because what was it called again?
Enigma.
Enigma. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like
Like they
And once
wanted
they
to
were
be
done
like,
building-
well, we have spatial awareness. Okay, everyone likes personal objectives, which I do. But yeah, it's just kind of weird whenever you could theoretically do that. There was nothing stopping me from having this 4 and doing that, and then doing that, and it's like, man, oh look at that, that's
yeah.
or actually better yet, let's do that.
Like
So then-
really, what I should have been doing
And you could
instead
stack
of
another
trying
one on top of it.
instead of trying to figure out my puzzles in those times, I should have just been laying down random grays.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
take this whole thing of grays and then just like line it out.
Yeah.
And
Now you still
stack
need to
them.
finish 2 or 3 to capitalize on
Yeah.
that. But you could end up getting 20 bonus points per card you finish.
Right.
Which it's like, yeah, I did that without even trying.
Yeah, the individual number of colored faces. I was like, okay, maybe it's individual blocks. Nope.
Yeah.
Individual number of colored faces.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Maybe it's their idea of a catch-up mechanic. Maybe
Yeah.
they were trying to be like, well, we don't really want to put a whole lot of effort into letting people strategically place pieces or strategically get cards that fit their strategy, so we'll just try and do this weird catch-up mechanic. So if someone's having a hard time, like, getting things placed the way they need to, they could just do exactly that and just start placing. But that's an artificial, lazy way of, if that even is a catch-up mechanic.
Yeah.
And that would just be annoying, where it's like, you didn't even do anything. Like, if like Kat did that and just took all these grays and just did all that, and she's like, oh, I have, 30, facing grays divided that by 3. I'm adding 10 to all of these. I mean, I
Yeah.
finished 4. That's 40 points.
Yep.
It's like, okay, but all you did was just place those dice. That's so dumb. Yeah, you're right. That is very annoying. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys give Block and Key? We'll start with Kat. 4.
4, yeah.
Slightly below average.
Yeah.
Brent?
I'd say 6.
6. I'm right in the middle. I'm at a 5. Like, it's fine. If someone was asking about polyomino games, I would
Point
point out so many others.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can see interesting variants I'd like to try as well. Like, what if all the players are looking at the same face
yeah.
instead of we have to be on different sides?
Oh my god, I remember at Gen Con while the guy was explaining it to me, someone came up and they're like, can this be played at 5? And the designer was actually, he was like, actually, yeah, what you need is you need to get a harness and grapple it onto the ceiling so you can look down. And then like the guy walked away and he's like, there's 4 edges. Like, why would you
What
ask
if he was like, no, come back here, and like, I'm gonna slap you.
what the fuck you say?
Get away, get out. He like rips up his pass.
Yeah, but it was just like, there are those people that are like, why can't I play more? It's like, it doesn't fucking need to play more.
If I had asked that, if I was like, oh, does this play at 5? I would have been like, and just walked away without saying anything.
You play solo.
As long as Kat's one of the players.
I'm
You can play this by yourself.
Yep.
I don't know. I was like, this wouldn't even be a fun 4-player game, just because. I mean, one,
It wouldn't be any different, except it would take longer to get to your turn.
that's
Yeah.
also true.
Yeah. Well, there is a limit on how much you can affect each other as well. Like, I just feel.
Yeah. The other thing that's actually kind of annoying is because of the general design of the game, you have to have a very specific table for everyone to sit comfortably. Like if I had a 4th player, it's like, well, I'm not moving my mic to accompany you, so
We'd have to play on the
Well,
table
the-
upstairs.
Yeah. It has
Yeah.
to be a square or round table.
yep.
Yeah.
It's
Or on your coffee table. Or
like I would almost say that this is best.
Well, I guess it could be this way and 4 people like that.
Even then, that would be weird, because then,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah, you could do this.
It would be a compromise, but it could work.
I guess that kind of could work for a table like this.
Yeah.
I would almost say if you're going to get this thing, only play with 2. Then literally it's just you and one other person, and then it's just that much quicker, so you can play other games.
I mean, honestly, like, when you guys were laying your shit down, like, just because you guys were building like, you were building lengthwise instead of upwise, all I was seeing was you put something, and I'm like,
That's true.
what did that do? I don't know. I can't see it.
Yeah, that's another good point. At first, it was like, oh, that is interesting. I put that there. From Kat's perspective, she doesn't see it.
Yeah. And
From
I'm like,
yours,
oh,
you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're that person and it's like, I don't give a shit what any of you are doing. I don't see those.
It was.
But that's why I think they had the rule that if it's not touching face to face, it can go on a corner.
That's another. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
So that you are forced to build
So others can see
in
it.
other directions.
Yeah.
So that's a good. That I like.
Doesn't make it any fun for a certain person if they're like still like. I mean, at a certain point, you and I were playing correctly on this side, but
Absolutely.
we already had all these. That it
Yeah.
was from Kat's perspective. She's like, okay, nothing's happening over there.
I'm just like, wow.
So in all reality, you and I were actually helping each other, and Kat's the one getting hurt through no fault of our own.
Right.
Which is why my score is a 4, probably.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I actually think, yeah, this would probably be best at 2 for that reason.
Yeah. Which, I mean, then it becomes theoretically like you two against each other and me against whoever's on the other side of me, but really even then.
True. In a 4-player game, yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah.
But I also think it would play differently whether like 2 people are facing each other on opposite sides and whether they're on adjacent sides.
There actually is a very specific way you have to play for a certain number of people.
Oh, okay.
Like in a 2-player game, it actually is facing each other, and the actual top. I mean, it's kind of nice.
I don't know why that would be.
Pull all these off. I mean, you could house rule it, but it does tell you. Oh, actually, no, you're right. There's arrows on here, so there's a very specific way that this starts, but it does tell you, okay, this arrow, so someone does sit here, and another person, in this case, would sit here.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I thought I saw it the other way.
Also, my starting hand had no brown in it, so I was fucked from the beginning.
Well, that's actually the other thing is for start, the start player is the one who places this cube. And the only thing is that the moss has to go on the top and the moss has to go on the bottom, but they can orient it in any way they want. And I had green in my hand, so it's like, oh. So it's not like I was like, ooh, I want to fuck Cat over with the brown facing her. I was like, I don't know.
I just thought brown had
I just want to do something for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Got it.
So at the end of the day, it's fine. Like it's a cool gimmick. For me, it was like, oh, this is neat. This is a different way of doing polyomino. But because of just the same objectives, that gets boring, and the lack of interesting plays with the other players is also boring.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like It looks cool though.
Yeah.
Like, and very, very, very nice pieces. I like these. So that's our thoughts on Block and Key. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you! Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.